그죠? 그러면 오늘 내가 뭐 뭘 그려보노? 응? 뭘 그려볼까요?
오늘 북한
어? 그래 뭐 북한군이다.
And Jean-Guy was just
시끄럽다.
asking himself, what should I do to, what should I draw today?
Yeah.
What should I draw today? And he has decided that he is going to draw something related to North Korean soldiers.
그럼 북한군 뉴스라든지 아니면 내 군대 다니면서 봤던 정신교육 받으면서 봤던 화면의 내용이라든지 아니면 영화에서 봤던 북한군 이미지들을 떠오르는 거예요. 최근에 또 북한군 뉴스에 요즘 자주 나오거든요. 우리 북한군 아저씨들.
So now he said to himself, today I'm going to draw something related to North Korean soldiers. And what he's thinking right now, the thing that's going on inside his head is that he's going to think about all the news that he saw related to North Korea. He would think about all the images that he saw inside the movies and even the things that he heard and saw while he was serving his military service.
그죠? 북한군은 여기 거의 냉면 접시처럼 생겨서 냉면 그릇. 여기
모자요?
모자가 정말 이상한 모자 쓰고 다녀요. 냉면 그릇.
And he knows that the hat that the North Korean soldiers put looks like a cold noodle bowl.
네. 자 그리고 싸움 잘하게 생겨야 돼요.
And he has these images of North Korean soldiers where they look like good fighters.
자 보세요 누가 되나?
딱 봐도
네, 위원장 북한 사람이에요. 북한 사람.
And Jeong-gi is telling you guys will see where you guys see where this drawing is going.
네, 딱 그죠? 가난을 기억하는 광대뼈.
The cheekbone,
네.
which remembers the sad
그런
the sad past where
어릴
we
때 잘
were
못
really
먹고
poor.
잘해서 여기가 폭 꺼져 있어요.
And we have a very, very skinny chin because we didn't eat well when we were young.
네. 그죠? 자, 그런 다음에 자 북한군은 겨울이 멋져요. 여름보다는 여름은 별로 볼품이 별로 없어요.
And he
북한군은
finds
겨울 복장이 멋져요.
and he finds especially nice the dressings, the clothes that the North Korean soldiers wear in winter. He doesn't find it interesting the clothes they wear during summer, but he finds it more interesting their clothes for winter.
소자,
네?
소자, 중자, 북한 그 계급.
So the ornaments which shows their class.
자, 그리면서 우선은 생각해야 될 게 자, 간단하게 본다 그러면은
Jeong-gi will make this simple. 간단히 그렸는데 북한 느낌 확 나네요.
야, 그죠? 간단해 봤을 때 이런 도형화시키는 것들이 중요해요.
And Jeong-gi will break down what he just drew. It's also important to geometricize the thing that you're drawing.
그죠? 손 그리고 맨날 손 어떻게 그려요? 이 질문을 안 했으면 좋겠습니다. 손은 자기 손 보고 그리면 됩니다. 알겠습니까?
And he will answer the question at the same time for those who ask him how to draw hands. It's really simple. Jeong-gi says that you have to look at your own hand and draw and practice.
아니면 여자친구 보고 포즈 취해달라든지 동생 보고 포즈 취해달라 그래서 그리면 됩니다. 손을.
Or ask your friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, your family members to pose and you practice with that.
그리고 북한군의 특징은 뭐 하여튼 뭐 많이 받았어요. 하여튼 참 잘했어요 도장. 지금 발이 큰 아이, 목소리가 크다.
And one of the
뭐 하여튼
characteristics
뭐 많아요.
One of the characteristics about North Korean soldiers is that they have lots of decorations on their clothes.
네.
They have like lots of ornaments on their
그래서
clothes.
진짜 이건 일반 병인데 장성들은 여기 훈장을 너무 많이 달아서 그게 방탄조끼 같아. 너무 많이 달아가지고.
And some soldiers, because there are some soldiers that are considered to be important in North Korea, apparently they have so many ornaments on their clothes. Their clothes look like a bulletproof vest.
그죠? 자, 그리고 내가 머릿속에 정해놓은 포즈가 머릿속에 정해져 있으면 그 다음부터는 공간과 공간이죠. 팔하고 팔 부분하고 가슴 부분 아니면 팔하고 얼굴 부분 이 사이의 공간이라든지 그죠? 그런 것들 잘 생각을 잘 하셔야 돼요.
And so now he thought of the subject, the thing that he wanted to draw. It was a North Korean soldier, and now he also started to think about the pose that the North Korean soldier will be having. And when you think about the pose, what you have to take into consideration is that the space in between the different parts of the body.
그죠? 그래서 그 공간과 공간 그리고 뭐 포즈나 아니면 뭘 잡고 있거나 들고 있을 때의 그 크기라든지 아니면은 포즈에서 봤을 때 어떻게 취하고 있는가를 머릿속으로 계속 생각하고 있어야 돼요.
So what he has to think is that the space in between the arm and the chest, because there is space, there will be difference in the size of the things that you will describe, you will draw. So now to draw the pose, the process inside your head will be to think about the space and the proportion regarding this proportion of the bodies and the materials that you're going to draw regarding the space.
그죠? 그게 돼야지 그 다음 거를 계속 그리는 게 가능해져요.
Because you will be only able to continue drawing while regarding all these small facts, small things.
그러면 내가 손을 먼저 그렸으면 이 탄창 때문에 아마 애매했을 거예요. 잘못하면 손을 먼저 그리면 탄창이 안 맞아 들어가요. 그래서 탄창을 먼저 그리고 그 다음에 손을 그리면은
He only drew the magazine first, not the hand first, because if he drew the hand first, it would have been complicated for him to work out the proportion and the space in between the magazine and the hand.
이런 부분 잘못 그리면 이게 탄창이 앞이고 손이 뒤에야 되는데 이 차이를 모르고 그냥 그렸으면은 잘못 그리면 손이 앞에 나오는 경우가 있어요.
As you can see, the magazine has to be on the front and the hand on the back. So that's also the space and the proportion that he has to calculate inside his head before drawing. So if he drew the hand first, it might have been like as if the hand is at the front and the magazine in the back.
참고로 정기쌤은 지금 어떤 레퍼런스도 참고를 하고 있지 않습니다.
And Hyunjin added that Jeonggi has no reference at all right now when he is drawing this soldier.
우리 주인은 본시 뒷모습도 나옵니다.
And you guys all also can see the back of the translator.
자, 우리 정기쌤이 항상 보고 있는 레퍼런스는 이거밖에 없습니다.
All the references The only reference that Jean-Guy used is this bat hanging on the ceiling. 뒤에 현진쌤 참고하신 거 아니니?
맞는데 현지쌤 맞네. 현지쌤 참고했네.
현진쌤 여전히 정기쌤 그림 그린 거 보면 즐거우시냐고 누가 물어보십니다.
네, 즐겁고 계속 의심하고 있습니다.
Does Sir Hyunjin still feel the enjoyment of watching Sir Jeong-gi draw after being with him for such a long time? Yes, he's still enjoying what he sees, and he's also doubting.
이것을 어젯밤에 혼자 오늘 연습하고 왔는지.
Hyunjin is still doubting if Jeong-gi practiced what he was going to live stream today.
여러분 대신 제가 김정희가 진짜인지 가짜인지 매일 의심하면서 보고 있으니까요.
Because there are people who question Jeong-gi, who are suspicious if Jeong-gi practice what he draws,
네.
to give impression that he can draw without any sketches.
믿을 수가 없습니다.
Hyunjin still cannot believe how Jeong-gi draws without any pencil sketches. How Jeong-gi can draw directly on paper.
아직은 레퍼런스를 안 보고 그리고. 네,
But Hyunjin confirms that Jeong-gi isn't using any references
진짜였어요.
right now.
그죠? 그리고 돌아가는 면도 있죠. 언제나 자 보십시오. 여기서도 가슴면이 있으면은
So he talked about visualizing the pose of the thing that you are going to draw, and he talked about geometrizing
자 다시 한번 그려볼게요.
the person, geometricizing the person inside your head. He talked about the space. He talked about the space that you have to take into consideration, the space in between the arm and the chest. And now he is also talking about the curves
자,
of the body.
그러면 팔. 자,
arm.
팔. 그죠? 이렇게 나가고 얘는 이렇게 앞쪽으로 나가는 거고.
So the arm goes towards the front.
그 다음에 얘는 이렇게 갔다가 얘는 앞으로 오고.
And you will see that the downside of the arm will be heading towards us, our eyes.
이쪽 팔은 뒤쪽으로 빠졌다가
Other arm will be heading more towards the back.
자, 이렇게 올라가죠.
And the forearm will once again go upwards.
배.
And the stomach. Yes, thank you, Radu. Chris simplified the pose of the body using boxes and simple shapes.
주름은 많이 넣는 것보다는 필요한 것만큼만 넣으면 돼요. 필요한 정도만.
And the how the clothes fold. Jeong-gi says that you don't have to describe that much to describe how to describe the drapery. You have to just put a simple few lines, 1 or 2 lines, to just express
그죠? 여기서도
the garment.
돌아가는 광대 참 이거 뭐냐 광대란다 이거 골반 아씨 광대라고 그래.
And also to describe the pelvis.
그래서 이런 체형에 대한 비례감은 언제나 그냥 뭐 책에 나오는 방식대로 외우셔도 되고 그것보다 더 중요한 거는 그냥 평소 때 많이 봐가지고 눈하고 손하고 익혀놔야 돼요.
So what he gives, what he is saying, what he wants to give as an advice is that to really understand the proportion of a human body, you can simply memorize all the things that you read on the book, or you just kind of tries to observe people on the streets, and then you just make your brain and your hand memorize the proportion naturally.
자, 이런 총이 있다 칩시다.
Let's see. Let's say that there's this gun.
자, 그러면은 총도 그렇고 사람도 그렇고 언제나 이런 비례감들이 있어요.
It's same. It's same when you draw a gun. It's the same when you draw a human body. There's this certain proportion that never changes.
그죠? 이게
It's already
보면은
fixed. The proportion. Let's compare this gun to a human body.
그죠? 여기도 상체, 하체, 상체, 머리 뭐 이렇게 나눠지듯이 그죠?
As you can see, we can divide a human body into head, the upper body, and the lower body.
그럼 전체에서 얘네들이 차지하는 비례감들을 알고 있으면은
If you understand inside your head the sense of proportion that each part of the part of the body takes,
짧아진 것만큼 이 비례감을 맞출 수 있어요.
if you tilt the drawing of the gun as if like Zhang is doing right now, if you have this sense of proportion, you will be able to describe the upper part getting shorter. 이건 진짜 유료 강의인데.
그죠? 이만한 것이 이렇게 진짜
As you can see, the gun he drew firstly, and the second gun that he drew, the length of two guns are different.
그죠? 이런 느낌으로 그릴 수 있어요. 그 반대로든 뭐든. 그럼
If you have the sense of proportion, you will be able to tilt the subject, the thing that you're drawing, and then you'll be able to make it look as if it is working out.
그죠? 그러면 내가 여기서 차지하는 비례감들로 보면 여기 앞통이 이만큼,
So you have this box inside your
몸통이
head.
이만큼,
You calculate
개머리판이
the
이만큼, 그죠?
the proportion inside your head. You divide the box.
그러면 여기에 맞춰서 쫙 하면은
You figure out how you're going to divide the box so that it would follow the normal sense of proportion that the gun has. 근데 그림 그리려면 수학도 해야 되네요.
그죠? 수업도 하는
Now I have to do math to draw. Jean-Guy said exactly.
어쨌든 우리가 이 수업을 중국에서는 하고 있고
Anyways, he is giving this lecture in China.
김정일에서 그 비디오로 만들어가
It's-
여러분들한테
그죠? 이런 거. 그러니까 이런 것들만 비례감들 차에서 봤을 때 외형적인 것들도 이렇게 습득하시지만 어떤 물체든 다 비례감들이 있어요. 어떤 크기 어느 정도 차지하고 어디는 어느 만큼 차지하고 있다는 그런 걸 생각하면서 외우시면은
So when you observe something, when you are memorizing something, there is all the time for everything, for objects, for human body, for the nature, there is this certain proportion that never changes. So Jean-Guy says that it is important to understand the proportion that each object have.
오늘의 팁은 비례감을 생각하라. 부분적인 것보다.
부분적인 것보다.
네.
So today's advice from Jean-Guy would be to stop to think partially, but see something as a whole, and then think about the proportion of the thing that it has.
그죠? 이런 앞이 길고 뒤는 좀 짧고 중간 위치 문이 얼마 정도 들어가고 이런 비례감들 알고 계시면은요 외우실 때
It's the same when he draws a car. When, as you can see, for these kind of cars that you can simply imagine inside your head, you can see that the back part of the car is much more shorter than the front part.
네. 꺾든 돌리든 그거 할 때 다 그대로 응용해 먹으면 돼요.
So you think about this proportion, like 1/3 of this car is the back side of the car. And so inside your head you draw a box, you tilt the box, and you take this proportion that you see, that you know, and then you use this proportion to draw this car, or any other objects in different angles.
이 위치에서 떨어지는 라인들
You compare inside your head. You calculate where the wheels are situated compared to the windows of the car.
그죠? 길이감이라든지 이런 것들 보면서 돌렸을 때 어떻게 되는가, 꺾였을 때 어떻게 되는가 이런 비례감들을 이렇게 해서 배우시면 사람도 똑같고 동물도 다 똑같아요.
You compare the length of certain object, certain part of the car, and when you start to adapt yourself to think about these proportions all the time, it will be a great help when you draw anything when you draw a human body, when you're drawing animals, when you're drawing objects, it is really important to think about the proportion that each thing has.
그죠? 그게 포즈라든지 어떤 것들이 머릿속에 잡혀 있으면 그 다음은 손은 거들 뿐이에요. 거들 뿐.
So when you have this basic idea of proportion inside your head, what kind of pose you draw doesn't really will never get in the way, because it's your head, it's your brain, and your hand who already knows, who already understands the proportion, and it will come out naturally.
거기 이제 이렇게 김정기 씨의 아이디어가 들어가고 있죠.
And now, from now, as you can see, he is slightly adding his own imagination. So he is adding his style after having after giving a plenty amount of observation onto the subject that he's going to draw. He is drawing.
진짜 북한군이 이렇게 생겼어요, 여러분.
Jong-gi says that he's telling the truth. Every North Korean soldiers look like this,
옥수 싸움 잘해요.
and they're really, really good, great fighters.
아.
그림에서 발상력과 기술력 둘 다 중요하시겠지만 어느 부분이 더 중요하다고 생각하시는지.
둘 다 중요한데.
이정기 쌤은 어떻게 작은 부분을 보고 그리시면서 큰 부분을 동시에 상상하실 수 있으신가요?
그게요. 우선은 머릿속에 그냥 원래 하나만 잡아놓고 그려도 그냥 그리면서 나중에 좀 맞숙련도가 많이 쌓이면은 완성 머릿속에 다 잡아놓고도 그릴 수 있고 그리면서도 만들 수 있어요. 그게 가능해져요.
Someone in Korean asked Jong-gi how he is able to draw a small details and think about the drawing in whole at the same time. And Jong-gi says it's kind of the it's also because he drew for a very long time, and when you reach a certain level, he says that he can always have a finished drawing inside your head, a visualization of a finished drawing inside his head. So what he's doing, what we see is that he's just mildly copying what he has in his head into a paper. He is able to do that, and at the same time he doesn't really have to have a finished drawing inside his head, but he can figure it out. He can also figure out how the final drawing will be while drawing.
그렇습니다. 다음에 돈 내고 들으세요, 여러분. 공짜로 들을 생각하지 마시고요.
So Jeonggi said that that was the advice for today, and next time please don't forget to pay Jeonggi for all